Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome to my Let's Try of the early gameplay demo of Mask of Semblance, a hand-painted action/adventure RPG in development by Red Essence Games. This demo contains some basic combat, exploration, and puzzles. I'll be spending at least 20 to 25 minutes on this title, checking out what it has to offer, giving my first impressions along the way. So let's begin. This demo has a lot of voice dialogue, so I will likely talk over some of it. For this intro cinematic, I will be silent.
This is a nice place to stop. Wouldn't you agree?
Dear boy, might I ask a question of you?
Really? Again? You talk too much.
Aha! And you think too little, dear boy. Well, anyway, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why the sky is blue?
Well, enlighten me, I suppose, since you seem to know everything.
With pleasure, boy. So, you see, the sun emits light, pure light. And what is light, dear boy? Well, all colors, every color existing in a fundamental equality. But because blue light waves are shorter than others, they are the most scattered by the Earth's atmosphere.
How could you possibly know a thing like that?
Chapter Omega, Beyond the Truth. So you have a choice of either the sun or a compass. There will be plenty of these choices in the final game. I'll choose the compass. It says choose your fate, so I think it will affect your final stats or something.
Oh yes, by the way, just in case you forgot.
So for this game, we have 3 choices of controls. I'll be using the Xbox controller.
Ha! Remind me again of what you would do without me.
And we can press pause in order to view our current stats, as well as control schemes. Move around by using the left analog stick. Interact with objects by pressing the A button. And we can attack by pressing the X button.
These markings seem ancient. Pity we must destroy this wall. Are we actually surrounded? Oh, the nerve!
Here's our first combat arena/combat scenario. Against these, whatever these small enemies are. They fall to 6 regular strikes, so they're really easy to defeat. And if you somehow run low on health, you can run up to that bush and press the A button to restore some of your health.
Well, now that's just rude, isn't it? Stand in way, make you pay!
A giant hulking beast. And unfortunately, our sword strikes deal chip damage to him.
Weak weapons no hurt, Grom. Look, I don't mind you butting your head into a wall, but do try to remember that I'm attached to it!
Well, what do you want me to do?
What I don't know, boy. Just do something!
Of course, it's always me that has to do something, isn't it?
Oh, do come now, boy. I'm sure you're more capable than that.
Oh, so it's capable you want. Okay, then. Watch this. Ah!
How magnificent.
With that outburst, I now have access to the heavy weapon. To use it, press the Y button. Unlike the chip damage I was dealing earlier, I now deal at least 25 damage to Grom. I don't think that'll be the last of Grom.
Interesting.
So that's the first of 3 switches that we need to press. As this is an RPG, as we defeat foes, we'll gain more experience which will allow us to level up our stats.
So what say you, proud boy? Do you require my assistance?
No thanks, it's fine.
No, it's fine. I can handle it.
Try not to lose your head now, dear boy.
By choosing that option, my defense stat increased by 2. I wonder if our stats would change differently if I chose the other option.
Oh, a nuisance. A temporary one, I'm sure. Dispose of them.
Our second forced combat scenario. Defeated enemies drop red essences, which I think act like the currency for this game. At least I suppose for the final game.
Well, that appears to be the last one.
What's over here? A gravestone.
Seems to be a memento of sorts. Perhaps that of a weary traveler.
Well, this is a sudden shift in style.
Tragic tale, actually. He's a young man. Much like yourself, actually. With lots of potential, but trouble, but... Earlier on, his loved one still thought he could be saved, but seemingly was not fit for this world. The shadows he spent his short years running from caught up with him, eventually, as they turned to do. After all, let us not forget how shadows first cast.
Well, that was an interesting interlude. And by going through the interlude, my max stamina increased by 5. Oh yeah, the stamina gauge. Your stamina decreases as you use a dodge roll ability and by casting magical spells, which I think you'll gain access to later on in this demo.
Did you feel something?
Plus 2 to my attack stat, so it does pay to explore around this place.
I wonder what happens here. Looks like we'll have to find another one.
This pathway is blocked off by all those rocks.
Wait. What's that? Troubling. Anyway, onwards.
Well, that's a bit odd. Before, the mask exuded confidence, but now it seems a bit worried. Off we go inside then. And that's why the mask was worried. Mechhaver, Guardian of Blame.
What is this?
It seems by destroying these stones on the corners of this arena, the boss takes massive damage, but I can only do it when they're shining. And that's the end of that machine. I wonder if the ancients built it, or if it's some other civilization. Usually in these types of games, it's ancient civilizations who build these types of guardians.
What's this? Perhaps we could use this on the rocks outside, boy.
So by defeating the boss, I gained access to the magical ability Blast. To use it, hold down the right trigger and press the X button. It does expand half of our stamina though. It also seems that in the final game, we'll gain access to over 4 spells. Maybe we'll be able to slot in 4 spells that we can choose to use in the field. As expected, using the blast ability destroyed the rocks in the way.
So, I've been thinking.
Something on your mind?
Well, are there others here? Others like...
Us? What of the old fool we just passed? Was his likeness not striking to you?
Well, he was insane. He nearly burned us to a crisp. It's not the same.
That he was. And you do well to remember whose fault that was.
That's not how it happened.
Wasn't it, proud boy? Regardless, others will just get in the way, as you have already observed. Remember the purpose of our journey. We are to find my master. That's all that's important.
I wonder if I missed an area earlier that I can open up by using the blast ability, seeing how this demo rewards exploration with stat buffs. There's Grom.
You again. Very well. Grom smash!
This time we'll defeat him for good, I think. I don't like using the heavy attack as it roots me in place, and there's no way to cancel it. That rock over there looks rather suspicious. And that's why. We can force Grom to roll into it, which deals a lot more damage than usual. And once again, Grom runs away. Okay, and he glitched out of the terrain over there. Well, I know he teleported out, but it just looked odd with that animation. I also like how for these tree fights, there's always these berry bushes in order to restore your health. At least I think they're berries. But nice usage of our ability to make this boss fight a bit easier. aka nice environmental interactions.
Proud boy, might I ask another question of you?
Might I ask a question of you instead?
Well then, proud boy. It seems you have your answer.
And that's the end of the demo. We run face first into a woman with a halberd, threatening to stab us to death. Sadly, we won't figure out what happens next until another demo version is released or the final version of the game is released. So my overall thoughts about this game. First off, the good. I adore the voice acting here. It's done pretty well, both the voice acting and the storyline. It's not a usual occurrence where in demos, the voice acting and story get me hooked. The combat was okay as well, but I'd like to see it extend further because as it stands right now, it's kind of simplistic. I do like the environmental interactions and how we can make certain of the boss fights a bit easier by destroying their weak points. But as I said, I need to see it explored more. But I did like how this game rewards exploration, like how we went into that one segment with the gravestone, how we learned about that other weary traveler who presumably perished or something, or worse, and how we got some stat buffs because of that. I hope that's explored further in the final game. I also hope in the final game that the decision making has some important consequences, as that was listed in the description of the game of how in the final version, there will be a lot of choices and sides we'll pick, and they will affect how the story progresses. I wonder if they'll also affect our stat distribution and how we level up. Like at the beginning of the game we had a choice of picking the compass or the sun. I wonder if that affected our stamina and attack meters, or HP, etc, etc. As well as the choice between asking for the mask for help when going by the saw blades, or going by it itself. By going by it itself we got an increase to our HP, or defense, but I wonder if we took the other option if we got a different stat buff. So I did like that as well. I also like the hand-painted graphics, although I wish the animations were a bit smoother. I also wish there were more normal enemy types, because in this demo, we only had those, whatever those minor enemies were, which were mostly punching bags, as well as Grom and the Guardian of Blame. The Guardian of Blame and Grom fights were fun, certainly, but I would like at least one or two more enemy types for more variation, like maybe projectile firing enemies or ones who charge more at you, instead of the usual punching bags. But as it stands right now, the controls are smooth, combat is okay, and the storyline and voice dialogue got me hooked. If there's one thing that will get me back to this game, it's seeing how the storyline unfolds. Nonetheless, I wish the best of luck to the developers. I give this demo 2 thumbs up. Well then, thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Toodles!